Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah.
no, I was gonna ask. So, how big is weight pulling over there?
It's not that big.
Okay.
But we are typically they say that around 300 to 500 people or dogs in Sweden are doing weight pulling.
Man, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a small
Yeah.
country. And the biggest events is like up around the 60 to 65 dogs competing each
Okay.
day.
Yes.
Yeah, so
That's nice.
that's nice. Yeah, so it's had a after the pandemic it went down, but this year it's kicking back up. So it's
Okay.
really nice. Yeah, it's been going on for quite a while. It started over 20 years ago. We started weight
Okay.
pulling here in Sweden. Yeah, so
Really, man, that's pretty cool. So, what organization do you have, like ADBA, or do you guys have your own organizations there?
yeah, so we have a organization that called the EWPA
Okay.
EWPL. Yeah, it's the European Weight Pull League.
Okay.
That's in the Scandinavian countries, or mostly Sweden, Finland, and Norway. And then
Okay.
there are in the rest of Europe. It's like I think it's 4 or 5 different organizations.
Okay.
But everything starts with the APA. It started with that type of
Oh,
regulation.
okay.
Yeah.
Really, that's pretty cool then.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
it evolved from that. So the EVPL is more obedience type
Okay.
regulation. So you can't be close to the dog. You have to leave the dog on the start line, and it has to be still before you leave
Ah.
the dog. And then you go over the finish line, and then you can call your dog. But if the dog wants to start before that, it's okay. But the typical way is that you leave the dog at the start line, go the 5 meters, and then you
Okay.
start the dog from there. Yeah,
Okay.
and no
Yeah, that's pretty
baiting
cool.
and stuff like that. Yeah, so
Okay.
it looks a little bit different. Yeah, we ain't pulling any 12,000 pounds. So what's the 11,400 or something that you
Yeah.
pulled?
So that's not common. That was just
No.
a really good track, and it was dead level, and that's like a once in a blue moon type thing. We don't pull like that here.
No.
Like the most, let me see. Before then, the most you pull maybe 5,000 pounds. But
Oh
on
yeah.
a level track, on a level track, everything's perfect, good bearings and everything. You can get that kind of weight. Like the show before that, when we were on a 3-inch incline, and I think we only got about maybe 2,300 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so normally, the tracks are incline here. Now for
Yeah.
nationals, we try to have dead level tracks for nationals.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yes,
That's nice. Do you
yes,
always pull on rails, or is there any dirt or carpet tracks or with wheels?
yes. Now, when I started, all I used to pull was wheels, and then
Yeah.
once I got into the ADBA. That was my first experience with rails, and then I got into APA kicked off where they did wheels and rails.
Yeah.
But I think once a year we do a wheel competition.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, about once a year. So if you look at a few pictures I have, you'll see a couple wheel competitions
Yeah.
or a couple videos. It's at least one a year. One a year. The top dogs of Houston, they normally put on a wheel competition, about once a year. And a lot of people don't really care for wheels. They rather pull on the rails. They say that the wheels mess up dogs, but I don't believe that. I'll pull anything, even
Yeah.
if it's a horse buggy and dirt. I don't care.
No. No. It's the same thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
so but yeah, over here it's mostly dirt and wheels, and also
Yes.
indoors on carpet. We don't have many rail tracks. I think we have at the moment we have this year we don't have any shows. Oh, your sound went away.
Yes.
Yeah,
No problem. I apologize about that.
no problem. So
Yes.
so this year we don't have any rail track in Sweden, I think. So, but we
Okay.
typically we have two, but this year they are out of business for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Wow.
So, but all the pretty much all the records in this organization is on rails, of course, and
Okay.
we do an incline somewhere between 0.5% to 1%. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not sure how many, but that should be pretty much something like 3 inches, as you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to say that's close, depending on the distance from the start line to the finish. That's about probably right around 3.5 inches to 3 inches.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh
is
yeah.
there a different length of the tracks over there?
So normally, I think the shortest the track can be is 33 inches. I mean, 33 feet. But the start line is normally we pull 15 feet ADBA. It's 16 feet APA and UPF.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And then I just need to do some calculations because a feet is in centimeters. That's a hard one.
So hey, look, I'm
uh,
glad you're going to do the calculations.
so how long was the typical 33 feet? You said no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
30.
the
So
track is
33 feet is the minimum length of the track. So the track has to
yeah
be no shorter than 33. Because what you
yeah
want is when your dog finishes this pull, you want him to still be on the track. You don't want him to be coming off the track. So 33 feet is the minimum. And then
yeah
but there, most tracks, I'm gonna say really good tracks, they probably have about 7 more feet on them. So big dogs
yeah
can finish on the track as well. So,
yeah.
a good track is probably 40 feet long.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
maybe somewhere around 40 feet. I think our tracks. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
minimum here. Over here, it's 40 feet for
Yes.
the track length. But the pulling length, how from the start line to the finish line, is there a
The start line to
difference?
the finish line, it depends on the organization. ADBA is 15 feet and
Yeah.
UPF and APA is 16 feet.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And over here we do. Yeah. We do
What, three
around
centimeters?
16 and a half, pretty much. So
16 and
five
a half.
meters.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Five
So
meter.
yeah, so it's
Okay.
pretty much the same. Yeah, and it's nice. Awesome. It's really interesting to see that it's not that many differences, at least when it
No.
comes to the length. But of course, our regulation is from the APA from the beginning. So they
Okay. Yeah.
started with that in early 2000s. They started with the APA regulation
Yeah.
over here, and then it
Yeah.
evolved. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy that started APA is Brian Hosfeld.
Okay.
Did, did you know that?
No, I don't know anything
Yeah.
pretty much more
Brian
than the
Hosfeld
name. Yeah.
started the APA, and then once APA was up and running, he kind of got out of it and started another one, which is UPF, which is still currently running, both of them, APA and UPF.
Yeah.
I think the president of APA now is Dwayne Walker, and the president of UPF is Brian Hosfeld.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Those guys have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They've been doing it for a long, long time. Yep. I
Yeah.
think.
So
Yeah. Yeah. A long time.
yeah, a long time. And we just dived right into everything here, but
Hmm.
I'm not sure about, at least over here, how many knows who you are, but I
Okay.
think pretty much everybody who's been looking at least on Facebook about weight pulling from the States, they have seen your dog's pull. But
Yes.
if you should, yeah, when did you start with weight pulling, and how did it become that you started to do it?
I started in weight pull. I think it was 1999. I was about 14 or 15 years old. Me and my dad, we went and got a pair of American Bulldogs, and we start training them and learning about weight pulling, and we just went to the show, and we've been hooked ever since.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
been hooked ever since.
that was your first dogs also, or
No, no, my first. So we grew up, man. I grew up always around pit bulls and Jack Russell Terriers and dogs like that. So my very first dog that was mine was a Jack Russell Terrier. But my granddad and my dad always had pit bulls.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Yes.
nice. Yeah, and then so why did you buy American Bulldogs? Was that for the weight pulling
Uh,
or?
well, we at that particular time, back in like 99, 98, time frame, they were considered a exotic breed.
Oh,
Back there, not a lot of people had American bulldogs at that time. So when we
oh,
we sent a buddy of my dad's that he knew for a while that had the pit bulls. With my granddad and my dad, he said, "Hey man, I got American bulldogs. Come check them out." So we came over to his house and he had really nice American bulldogs. He had a litter of puppies, so we got to,
oh,
and
nice.
we started training them and doing different things with them, and then we found weight pulling, and we went to our first weight pulling show, and a guy named Dwayne Phipps, he took us under his wing, and he kind of showed us what we should be doing, and
Yeah,
actually probably showed us some of what we shouldn't be doing too. That's the good part about it. Sometimes you learn from people the right way and the wrong way to do things.
yeah, of
So
course.
you can learn both ways.
Yeah, have your training for weight pulling uh, been evolving a lot since then, or is it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah,
Oh man, dude, I would be embarrassed to show you some of those original
yeah,
dogs we had. Oh man, my weight pull training has evolved tremendously.
yeah,
Yes, it
yeah. I can
evolved
imagine.
tremendously. Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
our.
I do not do the same things.
No, I started in 2009,
Hmm.
and from then to now, it's a really big difference over here as well. So I can imagine with
Yes,
another decade in the bank, it's yeah, you learn a lot. Uh,
yes, yes.
what's the biggest difference when you train now compared to when you started?
Uh, well, a couple things. I mean, the overall training, has changed. Like back then, I had the belief that you had to teach a dog how to pull off leash, where you really don't. A dog doesn't know a difference. So now I keep the leash on my dog when we're training at home. Only time the leash comes off my dog is at the show. And the reason I do that is if the dog makes a mistake, I can guide him better if I have a leash on. If I don't have the leash, I have to go get him. And what the dog learns is that as long as that leash isn't on him, he can, I can't, I have no way to hey, show them or guide them. So
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing,
yeah. And do
and probably
you
conditioning as well.
yeah, do you do a
Yeah.
lot of conditioning?
Yeah, I do for events. So if I'm getting ready for an event, I try not to, and it doesn't always work out like this, but I try to do one event every 8 weeks. But here lately, it seems like I've been doing 2 and 3 events within that 8 weeks. So,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
kind of sucks. But I try to put dogs in like an 8 week keep for
yeah,
any individual shows. So, I, yeah, I had to do a lot of conditioning.
yeah. What
Yeah.
type of conditioning do you do? Is it carpet mills
Uh,
or?
Carpet mill, slat mill, drag weighting in the field. I do hand walking, spring pole, flirt pole. I throw the ball for them. Just anything that makes it fun.
Yeah, you do it all. It sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anything that makes it fun.
Yeah, that's nice. And
Yes.
for the regular training, or do you do this only on this 8 week schedule, so to speak, or do you have
So yeah,
a base training before that?
no. So when we're not in a keep, I just throw the ball, hand walk. Go to creeks, throw the ball in the creek, let them swim. I do all fun stuff. When we're not in a keep, we just do all fun stuff. When
Yeah,
we're in a keep, the fun stuff is either right after we do like if I run them on the treadmill, I'll take them out and kind of let them walk it off and throw the ball a little bit just to break stress. But other than that, during my 8-week keep is all the strenuous stuff. Other than that, like on the off time, I'm just throwing balls, doing what they like to do.
Yeah.
Yep, and
So
each
they
dog is
are.
different, man. Some
Yeah.
dogs like the flirt pole more than they like to catch the ball. Some dogs like to catch the ball more than they like the spring pole. So
Yeah.
whichever each dog likes, I'll do that with that particular dog.
How
So
many
I have
dogs do you
very
have
long
at the moment?
days.
Yeah,
I
I
have
can
about
imagine.
I have about 7 dogs.
Oh, yeah. So they
Yeah,
are very long days. Yeah.
yeah, I have a lot of long days.
Yeah. And now you only I say, but now you have pit bulls or no American
Yes,
bulldogs?
no American bulldogs, and
No.
I also have patterdales too, but I don't weight pull them. I only hunt them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have
Yes.
had at least two, no, three Patterdale Terriers that compete here in Sweden.
Yeah.
And Norway, actually, two of them from and one in Sweden. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
Now
are.
I have pulled patterdales back in the day, maybe 2009 APA Nationals was the last time that I pulled a patterdale. But yeah, I definitely I used to, but once I start hunting them, I realized those dogs are made for hunting.
Yeah, yeah,
They're not weight pull dogs, they are hunting dogs.
yeah, yeah. I
Yes.
heard that. Yeah, yeah, they're kind
Man.
of the essence of the terrier.
Yeah, oh man, they're great dogs. I do a whole lot of groundwork, a lot of digging to the dogs. If you go on my Facebook, you'll see pictures of it.
Yeah,
You know, I got a couple dogs on there with groundhogs and with fox. You know, that we dig to them underground and get them out. So it's with the patterdales, it's definitely just hunting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And when you with the pit bulls, then you don't do the physical training all year around, but do you do anything mentally for them except these all these activities that you do, special like obedience training or something like that for the mental part?
Mentally, no. I don't. Like I said, we do fetch and things like that. You know, but other than that, I don't do a whole lot of obedience. You know, enough. I do enough obedience where it's fun to live it with the dogs. Because if they don't have any obedience or if they don't understand anything you're saying, a pit bull can be hard to live with.
Yeah,
So, I do just enough for them to understand, for us to have a good life together.
yeah, yeah. That's good.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, and do you live outside on the countryside or how because you have
Yes.
so many dogs?
Yeah. I live in more of a rural area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
It's except for weight pulling and hunting. Is there you
Mhm.
breed dogs or
Yes.
yeah, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
especially the pit bulls.
Yes. That's the pit bulls and the patterdales as well.
Yeah. Also, yeah, and
Yes.
both your father and your grandfather they bred pit bulls as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. You have a long experience of
Yeah.
pit
Yeah,
bulls
man.
then.
I've been around dogs when I was born into dogs.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
nice. That's really nice. Yeah, I'm not that knowledgeable about the pit bulls more than I love the type of dog. Yeah, I'm a American Staffordshire show
Oh,
man from
okay.
the
That's
beginning.
cool.
Yeah, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
different, but yeah, we don't have that many pit bulls over here. Real pit bulls.
Really?
It's a lot. No, not that many. It's I'm not sure about the number, but maybe somewhere around 200. I think I've heard
Yeah.
real registered ADBA pit bulls in
Pitbull.
Sweden.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
nice. Yeah, I've actually the typical interviews we have. We don't have any questions, but this time I actually wrote down a couple of questions and just to
Eh,
be a little bit more prepared. I was a little bit nervous over this actually. Um,
Really? I
yeah,
appreciate
it's
that,
in
man.
English.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Is there any mistakes that you see newcomers typically do when they start? with the sport?
Yes, it is. So most of the time when you have newcomers, they put the biggest mistake I see is they get, they'll bring the dogs in, and the dog will have a little bit of a natural talent, and they'll just overdo it.
Yeah,
They don't understand. Sometimes you just accept what the dog has given you. So let's just say I've seen new people come in, and I say, man, that dog's pretty good. And you'll see him, and the dog will make like a 20 or 30-second pull, and you'll be like, hey, man, I think that should be it. Oh, no, he's strong. This dog pulls me all over the place. And they'll put him back up there, and the dog stands there and bark. Bark, oh, 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 and bark, 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 and can't get it. And that's the beginning of the end.
yeah.
That is the
So
beginning of the end of that dog's career.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot, unfortunately.
Yes.
So it's less is more, pretty much.
Less is more.
It-
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you train, not only you, but typically over there, do you train by the cart the most on the track? Do you do all the
Well,
pulling on the track, or?
now I've seen different sides. I've seen there's some guys that predominantly use the track, and then
Yeah,
they're like, I don't use it. I don't use the track a lot. My track actually isn't even put together. It's in storage. I have it. I keep it in storage all the time. But I predominantly use the field. The
yeah,
drag path. Sometimes I feel like this. You can overdo the track to the point where a dog doesn't like it.
yeah,
You don't want them to. This is where competition is, so you don't want them not to like the track. So I try to do all my hard work in the field, and then when we go to the track, it's a fun day.
yeah,
That's the mental thinking that I put into the dogs. Hey, on the track, fun day. Every time you go to the car, you're gonna get a hot dog or whatever treat I have. After the pull, we're gonna play ball. This is what I do when I deal with tracks. So
yeah.
I don't go to the track a lot because you just don't want to have bad experiences on the track.
No, that sounds wise. So
Yes,
pretty much when your dogs is on the track, it's when it's the show, pretty much.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
That's interesting, because over here it's a lot of people are yeah, without using any bad words, moaning about they don't get enough track time in their training.
Yeah. I don't
So
I don't do a lot of track time. Like the best time, like right, I have a show coming up next weekend. Uh so I'll take a couple of my puppies with me. I'll introduce them to the track. We'll walk up and down. I'll play with them. I'll feed them on the track. I'll walk them down, let them come off the track, hot dog, walk up the track, hot dog, turn, and I'll do that. And that's the introduction. And I'll
yeah,
probably do that the next couple of shows I go to. And then after that, man, we're in the field.
yeah,
It's all field work.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that. But when I don't have a dog at the moment, when I competed with
Yes.
my last dog, it was, we didn't
Mhm.
have access to a track, so I did all the
Yeah.
training, yeah, in the dirt with chains behind, and yeah, drag weight we call it over here. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then
And what I find is just like obedience. If you give a dog structure, I don't let my dog run side to side. He don't pick his sides. Once as a puppy, I let the dog pick a side. So if the dog likes to pull into my left side or pull to my right, whichever side he picks, he stays there. I don't let him keep running back and forth. And I'll give him a few weeks, about a month, to determine which side he likes. And
yeah,
once he picks that side, I don't let him keep crossing me, and it's like a lot of people, they'll let their dogs go over, they'll step over them. No, if you give structure to a dog and you keep them tracking straight, they'll stay straight on the track. But when you try to conform to what the dog wants, or stepping over him, the dog cutting you off and all that, man, you're gonna have a dog that jumps on and off the track. You're gonna have this, you're gonna have all kind of problems. So I let that dog pick a side, and then he stays there.
yeah,
Everything I do on the field is just how I do on the track. When I walk up, I tell them turn, I tell them wait, hook up the trunk. You ready to work? We pull.
yeah,
Everything that I would do on the track, we do it in the field. It's the same thing.
yeah,
Pulling
yeah,
is pulling.
yeah, exactly. And I
Yes.
really like to hear that with the structure thing, because I've been saying this a lot the last couple of years. You need to,
Yes.
when you do the drag weight, as we call it, keep the dog straight, keep it on the side where you
Yes.
have it, and no crossing or being all over the
Yes.
place. It's yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Nice. So
Yep.
so when you're in the field and doing the pulling, do you do heavy pulling all the time, or do you vary it, or
No, it varies. Every dog's different. I have some dogs that can pull 40 pounds in the field. I have some dogs that can pull 60 pounds. I have a dog that only pulls 30 pounds in the field. It just depends on the dog. But
yeah?
no, you can't. Oh, it can't always be heavy.
No.
It
Do you
can't
go
always be
far?
heavy. You
Oh,
uh
sorry.
yes. So far, about a quarter mile. I'm not sure what that is in kilometers, but
No.
I do about a quarter mile. Is the longest I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was
And do
younger, I used to do a mile. And what I found in that mile is that I was, by the time a dog was old enough to pull at a year old, back, because now it's 9 months. It used to be a year old before a dog could pull. And what I was finding, man, I was burning the dog out before we got to a show pulling so long.
yeah.
So I shortened it up. I shortened it
Yeah.
up, and like I said, my training has evolved from when I was younger, got into it. I used to do a mile, straight. And now
Yeah.
now the most I would do is a quarter mile in one session.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you try to compare the weight of the for the dog compared to the weight of the dog, is it pretty much 100% of the dog's body weight, or what is there a difference there between the dogs also, maybe?
You know what? It all depends, man. Like I have a little dog named Mouse. She's about 20, 25, 24 pounds condition. She can pull 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And then I have some dogs, man. I have a dog that was 50 pounds. Man, I seen him pull 100 before. So
Oh,
it's all different.
yeah.
Now, not 100 for a quarter mile. It was
No.
100 for a shorter distance. But yeah, man, it all depends on the dog. It just all
Yeah.
depends. And I let the dog determine what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
I don't force them to do anything. I don't go up overboard with it. I keep it to what they can do. And I
Yeah.
never after we come off a break, we start at square one. So I'll go
Oh,
out
yeah.
there maybe with the because I use a tire. So I'll go out there with an empty tire, and we go, and that's my baseline. We go from there.
Yeah.
You know. So then I'll add weight from there. And if I go out and I put a weight that the dog should be pulling on and he can't pull it, I pull the weight off.
Yeah.
And we go back to and I just do what he can do. That's the thing, man. Just like we have days that we don't want to work out, or our bodies are sore, or we might have a little ache in a muscle. Guess what? Dogs get the same thing. They're not robots.
No.
So I,
Exactly.
I adjust I adjust to how the dog is feeling. And sometimes I'll go out, if the dog is just looking like he's having a really bad day, I'll let him off and we just walk.
Yeah.
It's not about forcing these dogs to do anything. It's not about making them, if I see they need more of a break, if I say, all right, I'm gonna give you a day off. If after that day they still looking tired, I'll give them another day.
Yeah.
I'll give them another day. It's because these dogs are not machines.
No.
Popular contrary belief, these people think these dogs are machines. They're not. So they
No.
need time to recuperate and get their bodies together just like we do.
Exactly.
Yep.
So in a week, how many training sessions is there? If you yeah.
uh it all depends. I try to get a certain amount of days of cardio in, which is my treadmills in, and then I try to get a certain amount of days of pulling in.
Yeah.
So in 7 days I might train 3 some weeks, 4 the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much every other
Every
day.
other day. Yes.
Yeah.
About every other day. Yep.
Yeah. That's a nice amount, I think, because yeah, they need to rest. That's very
Yeah.
very
Yes.
important for them. It shows that the mentality of the dogs make them want to work all the time, but the physical
Yes.
part is it's the limiting factor over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. Yeah, like I said, these dogs are not machines. They're not robots. You gotta give them a
No.
break.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at the Whipple scene in the US during
Hmm.
all these years, has how has it evolved? Has it been bigger or the same, or does it vary? Or
No, when I first started pulling, man, it was nothing to go to a regular show and have 60 or 70 dogs there. I've been to regular shows that, yeah, 60 or 70 dogs was a normal show. Now we get shows, I guess about a normal show is 30 dogs.
okay,
30 dogs, and then nationals, that's where we're getting the 60, 70, 80 dogs that is at nationals. But
yeah,
I don't think it's as big as it once was.
no.
I
How
think
come do you
I've
think?
seen I, uh, it could be several things, man. You got some guys that are super competitive and trash talking. You got people that's just been doing it for a long time and they're getting older.
Yeah,
You got new people coming in and sometimes no one helps them, so they
no.
just get out of it because they feel like they can't win or just it's not a friendly sport. It's a bunch of different reasons. It's a bunch of different reasons why pulling has went down, but I have seen an uptick in the last 3 years. I have
Oh,
seen it start to climb back up,
yeah,
to what it used to be.
yeah. That's nice. It's
Yes,
way underestimated sport.
yes,
I think
yes,
a lot of people think that we force the dogs, as you said, but that's well, there's always idiots, but
yes.
the typical guy
Oh
or the
man, it's
well is
always idiots.
yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
Yes,
That's the yeah. We always know there are idiots all over the place. But
yeah. It,
do you have to travel
and
long to go for shows or?
it depends. I have a show. We like the New Jersey show. I live in Maryland, so the New Jersey show is about an hour and 40 minutes from me, which is a beautiful time. But then I went to Colorado. That was 26 hours.
Ooh,
Driving, and then
yeah,
I went to Utah last year. That was like 38 hours. So it
yeah,
just depends.
yeah,
So I try to plan at least one maybe two big shows a year to travel to, just to get the dogs out there and and just to meet new people and see people that I haven't seen in a long time, and you know I try to make it all over the U.S.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it regional how big the sport is, or is it pretty much the same?
Uh, I'm gonna say you got. So we're gonna start in the Midwest. So the West Coast, I guess, has about the same amount of dogs as the East Coast. They're just as competitive. But what you find is if we have an East Coast Nationals, the West Coast people won't come, and if we
Yeah,
have a West Coast Nationals, the East Coast people don't come. So I think I like the Nationals better when they're in between Kansas, Colorado. Utah, somewhere in there, because it's more central for everyone.
yeah,
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 it's more central.
yeah. You have a really big country. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, way
yeah,
more central.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's nice. Yeah, I think yeah over here it's hard when it's 4 or 5 hours driving, but
yeah,
yeah, driving 36 hours. It's yeah, that's a whole other
man.
beast. Yeah,
4 or 5 hours, man. I do that in my sleep.
yeah.
Yes,
That's really
sir.
nice. Yeah. When you look at your dogs at home, is there
Hmm.
do all of the dogs the peoples then do all of them do weight pulling, or is there anyone that you feels like this one doesn't like it or
Yeah. Oh no, no, no. No, man. You know what? It's just like anything. You get dogs that don't like pulling, so they don't pull.
yeah,
I have dogs. You get some dogs that love pulling and they're just not good at it. It's
yeah,
not for everybody.
no,
So what I do is I have a real strenuous weeding process. So I train. Sometimes I'll train up three or four dogs,
yeah,
and the only ones that make the cut are the ones that are really good.
yeah. How do you
Sometimes the
determine that?
other the uh Just pulling. We go
Yeah,
to the field. The ones that like it tend not to really have a whole lot of I guess training issues. The ones that are stronger, like they all around the same weight.
yeah,
So you'll see them as they get older. So from about 8 weeks old up to about 6 weeks old, 6 months old, you'll see them just kind of the really good ones will pull away from the pack. You
yeah,
know, you'll just see them get really good. It's like, oh man, this one was going to be good. And
yeah,
then you'll see the ones that love it that ain't that not so strong, and you'll just see them they're still at the same weight.
yeah,
Because I have a theory that if a dog isn't ready to progress, I don't keep adding weight on them. It's going to do is jack him up. So
yeah,
you'll see him. He's at the same weight, and he's still struggling the way he was 2 weeks ago. Where the other puppies, they're just gone. They're already 3 or 4 pounds further.
yeah,
So that's how I say, okay, this one's a little stronger. This one don't have any mental hiccups or anything like that. That's how I do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That it seems to be that there are dogs that are born to do this.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
and if you understand that, you start to breed dogs that are born to do it to other dogs that are born to do it, and you
yeah,
start getting litters that are born to do it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's really the big secret to weight pulling. You take a one dog that loves to do it and really good at it, and you say, man, that dog loves to do it and really good at it, and you breed them together.
yeah,
Then out of that litter, you pick the puppies that have the same phenotypes and likes like the parents. Then you take them and you got another buddy, maybe let's just say West Coast. Hey, dude, this dog just like this. And you bring them together. And
yeah,
sometimes you got to start line breeding and inbreeding to
yeah,
stack those genes, and then you outcross it to another
yeah,
dog that loves to do it, but just an outcross. So it's just it's definitely a method to the madness.
yeah. So
Yeah,
do
it's
you
definitely a
select?
method to the madness.
Yeah, in your breeding, do you select for weight pulling or wait?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. No. So I'm gonna be honest with my breedings. When a litter comes, I'm a phenotype picking guy, man. I'll look at a litter and I'll say, man, that looks like I got right now, and I have a dog named Tokyo. Uh, and I said, man, I had a litter off of her in March. So I said, you know what? This dog reminds me of Tope. I'm keeping this dog because she was really good. So 9 times out of 10, this dog might be really good. And I've been finding that picking like that has been working for me.
yeah,
I'm picking
yeah,
off of a look of one of the parents or a look of the grandparents, if or a look of what I know these lines. I've been dealing with them so long, so I've been picking off of what I know out of the pedigree. And
yeah.
I'll be doggone, man, it's been working every time.
Oh, that's
I have
nice.
not missed. I have not missed.
There is something when it comes to angulations in joints and in
Yes.
everything that actually works really good for this. Yeah. And
Yes, it
length of
is.
femurs and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what I find? Dogs with longer backs and greater angulation in the shoulders, those dogs tend to have better form, better style.
Yeah.
The dogs that have a little straighter shoulders, they're stiffer in the front. They march, they keep their heads up and they just bend them down. But the dogs that have that bend in their shoulders, they're able to manipulate their shoulders and their arms a little better than the ones that don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get the right attack angle for the cart.
Yes.
And yeah, and
Yes.
they can use all four legs pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
A
my
hundred
my
percent,
my
man.
boy,
That's the key.
he yeah, my boy, he only used the back legs. It was super
Yeah.
stiff
Yes.
in the front. It was strong as hell, but yeah, with four legs, it would be way better. Yeah,
A lot better. Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yep.
nice, nice. And so when it comes to the nationals, is that um, you have the different organizations, but there are
Yes.
no mix of those organizations when it comes to nationals, or is
Well, yes
there?
and no. Yes
Yeah,
and no. So you got most of the people that pull ADBA are either going to pull UPF and or APA. So
yeah, okay,
ADBA is normally the one that everybody pulls. And then,
yeah,
you have some groups that only pull APA after ADBA, or they might only pull UPF. So normally with me, I just pull ADBA and UPF.
Yeah.
To be honest, APA is a great organization. Nothing, nothing to say bad about them. But what I've noticed is a lot of the competition, uh, the really, really good dogs are going to either be APA or UPF. And this is just statistics. You can go back and look. Some of the greatest dogs in the country were all at UPF last year.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest dogs in the country were all at ADBA last year. Same thing. You look at the year before, the same thing. Year before, the same thing. So, I like to pull against good dogs. I like to pull
Yeah.
against the best. If a person say, "Hey, I have the best dog and I'm on the West Coast, man, it's time for me to make a trip to the West Coast."
Yeah.
If a person say, "Hey, I have a great dog and I'm in Colorado, man," and guess what? After we finish pulling, I would like to go have a beer, something to eat, a good laugh, But when we're on the track, man, we're competitors, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to get the best out of your dog. I want you to get the best out of mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's nice. If
Hmm.
is there like a sense of community within weight pulling,
Yes.
or yeah,
Yeah, man. When I first got into pulling back in like 1999, 98 time frame, only thing that was really the pull was IWPA and ADBA. IWPA family, they kids running around. You had a lot of people that was willing to help you understand what pulling was. When I first went to ADBA, people didn't really even talk to you. If
oh,
you weren't like one of the big names, they wouldn't talk to you. I think when I was younger, I was probably 15 or 16 at the time. Went to my first ADBA show. There was a guy named Richard Dunn, real big name in pulling in the U.S. And he was sitting down on the bleachers over at the New Jersey show, which is ran by Havana Chico, and still ran by Havana Chico. But Rich was sitting on the bleachers, and I sat next to him. I said, "Man, you mind me asking you something?" He said, "Yeah, you can ask me." And I said, "Man, how you get your dog so good?" And he just started talking. And he was
oh,
telling me this and telling me that, and I was like, "Man, I really appreciate that." So about 2 or 3 years later, he seen me. We were at nationals, and I had a little English bulldog. This was 2005 or six, and he said, and I ended up winning the nationals, and I beat this dog. He had a dog named Nakaya, and I outpulled it. So he said, "Man, how the hell did you get that dog to be so strong?" And I said, "You remember you were sitting on the bleachers and told me all the stuff to do?" He said, "Well, you're the first person to listen." And I
yeah,
said, "Well, I guess I am." So, but yeah, man, he definitely was a big help to me.
yeah,
Yeah, he definitely was a big help to me.
yeah. It is important to listen to the guys that done it and been successful in the past, because yeah,
Yes,
well, not all, as you said in the beginning, not all they say is great, but when you got some knowledge for yourself to begin with, you can actually get the information quite. You can, yeah, like yeah, I'm lost for words. Yeah, you can like
yes.
sort out the information. You can take the good parts.
Oh yeah, most
Yeah,
definitely. And then
yeah,
and then another thing in the sport, you get people that they want to see the sport grow, but they don't want to see you beat them.
yeah,
If you understand that, so
yeah,
they want to see the sport be as big as it can be, and people come, but they don't want to see you beat them and win. So you also get that in the sport. That's I don't mind. I win just as much as I lose just as much as I win.
yeah,
And you got to learn how to be a good winner and a good loser.
yeah.
When I lose, I learn something. Hey, what did I do wrong? Because if I lose a competition, I'll go and sit down and think about what I did or what happened in my training. What caused the loss? Why were the dogs not as strong as they were a month prior or 2 months prior? And 9 times out of 10, it was me. It's never the dogs. It's
Yeah.
always me. It's something I did. Maybe I tried to hold a keep too long. I'm just doing too much with the dogs. Sometimes it's easy to be 3 or 4 shows in your area. I got one this week, one the week after, one, and you can't make them all. There's
No.
no way to make all those shows and keep the same strength the whole time. So
No.
that was one thing I've learned about these dogs. So You can't keep pounding and pounding and pounding. They're not robots. Like I told you earlier, these dogs are not robots, so you got to give them a break,
Yeah.
or you'll see your strength decline.
Yeah.
So that's one of the bigger things that I've learned with these dogs. You got to give them a break. You got to
Yeah.
reset their keeps, and the only way to do that is to take them to a baseline and just do nothing with them.
Yeah.
Let them get rest. Let them just chill. Let them get a mental break. They need it.
Yeah. And do you give them more food then also, or how do you
Yes,
work
yes,
with that?
yes.
Yeah.
I do. I try. Truthfully, I'm gonna be honest. I try not to change my food a lot. Instead of shaking the spoon, I normally try to increase the calorie deficit. I try.
Yeah.
What I try to do is burn more calories
Yeah.
instead of taking food away. I just do more.
Yeah.
So if that means that after we finish pulling, I might have to throw the ball 10 times, to
Yeah.
burn a few more calories to try to get a few more pounds off, because I'm not a big fan of food bowl training.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And how do you feed your dog? Do you feed him a raw diet or?
No, you know what? So I feed a dry food. I feed a nook shook.
Yeah.
A nook shook is actually, man, a really, really good food, man. I kind of stumbled upon it. I had dogs and they weren't really holding weight really well. So I had to find something, and just listening and talking to a few people, they were feeding at a Nook Shook 32, and I tried it out. It's a Canadian it's a Canadian based food, really high in calories. I mean,
Mm.
just a really good food, and that's what I feed. I wish I had enough time and energy and you know to feed a raw diet, but I don't. I don't. It's a whole lot of thinking, a whole lot that goes into feeding a raw diet.
Yeah.
It makes me have to be the scientist, where with the dry dog food, someone else has already did all the work.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can get
So
really, really good dry food as well. There are the
yes,
top brands when it comes
yes,
to quality are really, really good. Yeah. It's like human grade food, pretty
yes,
much.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. And
No,
and
one
now,
hundred percent.
yeah. Uh, is there a big difference between, except for the length of the track and stuff like that, when it comes to regulations between like ADBA, UPF, and APA?
Uh, I guess one of the only difference, because those organizations, they were modeled off of IWPA, ADBA, those are the originals. So they were
Yeah.
modeled off of APA and UPF. They were modeled off of the originals. So the
Yeah.
only difference is ADBA, you have files. You have like let's see, 3 files. Yeah, you have 3 files in ADBA, and the other ones, UPF, you have 1 file. APA, I don't think they've added files yet. And then
Okay.
ADBA, you can double handle. So you can bring up your kid and yourself, or you can bring your wife and yourself. You can bring 2 people up with you. You and another person can pull the dog and give them more encouragement. The
Yeah.
other organization is only one person.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Okay, and then one of the biggest difference that I hope changes one day is ADBA. You only get 4 skips, so I can pull, skip, pull, skip, pull, skip, and then that's it. I got to continue to pull 100% after
Oh.
that. With UPF, I can pull, I can skip 10 times, I can pull, I can skip 10 times, I can pull, I can skip unlimited skips, APA
Yeah.
and UPF. So when you're pulling ADBA, you got to have a strategy. If you don't, you're gonna wear your dog out and you are going to lose. With UPF and APA, it's a little more forgiving. If I bring a dog in too early and he makes a 5-second pull, I can say, you know what, I'm gonna skip 3 more times and then I'll see where he is.
Yeah.
If he's still making real fast pulls, you can skip 3 more times and see where he is. With ADBA, if you come in early, you got 4 passes. After that, you're stuck. You're gonna have to pull every pull.
Oh. Yeah.
So
That's really
that's
hard.
one of the
Yeah.
bigger difference. Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah. And then If it's not a really really big weight class with a lot of dogs, it's you will pull with very little rest in between. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and you no rest. Yeah, and we do have what they call the 5 minute rule. So
Okay.
your dog has 5 minutes in between each pull, uh, before he has to come back. So if I'm pulling, let's say me and it's just two dogs left. Let's just say me and another guy. I pull. I have 5 minutes from the time I get off the track to the time I have to get back on the track. I have
Yeah.
5 minutes. And every dog gets that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
every dog gets it.
So that was it was quite interesting that you only get 4 skips in ADBA and then unlimited in the others. We have no skips. We have unlimited skips in the EVPL. Um,
Okay.
so that was quite interesting to hear. I know we had discussions a lot of times because it's quite expensive in Sweden to have shows because we need to have a veterinary on site all the
Really? I
time.
love that.
Yeah,
That is really cool,
yes,
man. I wish it was like that here. Like so some organizations we do drug tests and uh I guess one of the biggest ones is going to be APA. They drug test every year, but
yeah,
there's no veterinarian on site. There's no
no,
vet tech. There's no bun. The same people that you're pulling against is handling your samples.
yeah,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
there should be someone there with no common entrance,
yeah,
handling
exactly.
that stuff or doing that stuff. And so it's just one of those things. I wish we could afford to do that too. I wish there was a vet, and I'm not going to say every show, but at least every nationals.
Yeah, yeah,
You understand what I
it,
mean? Every nationals,
yeah,
if there was a vet tech and you say, hey, at the end after the pull, after your dog is done, after there's all the pictures, we're going to draw blood.
yeah,
Or after the show, after the pool, we're gonna collect urine, and
yeah,
and they sign it. You sign, they lock it up, they put it in their vehicle or wherever it's gonna stay, and no one else can get to it. And then the next
exactly.
dog, and then the next dog. But it's not like that. It's the same
No,
people that you're pulling against, the same people that's judging your class, the
yeah,
same people that have would like to win. They're the
yeah,
ones that's handling your urine. So and your hair samples because one year they did hair samples and urine.
oh,
So it kind of sucks. You don't. And not saying anything has ever happened. I I never drove dirty. Nobody I know really ever drove dirty. Even though it still shouldn't be like that.
no,
It still should
but
be someone with no common interest taking that urine and that hair follicles.
yeah, yeah, I agree totally. But has
Yes.
there been any doping cases?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
been cases, and I wouldn't name the people, but yeah, there's
No,
been
no, of course.
been there has been people that have done it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, shit, people that you never would have thought in a million years that would have done it, they have. Yes, and,
yeah,
and they've been exposed, and they've done it. Yes.
yeah. What kind
You
of
know,
drugs is it like strength drugs or is it any other kind of? Yeah,
so I know some people got hit for caffeine.
yeah,
There was a person that used an EpiPen. There was
yeah,
people that use steroids. So I
yeah.
truthfully I'm not gonna even sit here and start like I know all the names of every
No,
steroid or something out here.
no.
I don't. Because it's not something that's allowed. So it's not something I'm going to
No,
study. I don't even waste my time with it. But
exactly.
yeah, there's people that get caught.
Yeah,
And just like any sport, there's people that want to win. That's
yeah,
what it's all about, winning a trophy. Winning a plastic trophy is, it's big to people.
yeah. It is.
So
It's really
they do
big. Yeah,
whatever it takes. Yes.
yeah. That
Yeah, they
that's
do
that's
whatever it takes to
actually
do to win.
yeah. It's the
Yeah.
same wherever you go. Yeah, you do everything to win. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting as hell, actually. Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
but there's no other big difference between the organizations then.
No.
No.
There's no real big difference. Like I said, your dog has to get up there and pull. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. Yeah. So
And
it
yeah,
really isn't.
yeah, I think you said that in the beginning. That was it. UPF that typically do some wheels competitions as well, or shows.
So I'm gonna tell you something. All three organizations you can do wheels. Their
Yeah.
wheels is not frowned upon. You can do wheels for ADBA, UPF, and you can do a wheel competition with all of them. But people don't do wheels a lot anymore. Now IWPA, they're still only wheels. The International
Okay.
Weight Pull Association, they're just wheels. But a lot of the people that pull now, they didn't start on wheels. They started on a track. And
Yeah.
the people that got them started with, you hear rumors of, oh, it'll ruin your dog. It'll do this, it'll do that. No, the cart doesn't ruin your dog. You do. If you put
Yeah.
your dog on a weight, whether it's 200 pounds, 300, 400, 500, if they cannot get it, they just can't get it.
No.
See, people are used to pulling these big numbers, 1,500 pounds, 2,000 pounds, 3,000, 4,000. Well, you're not going to do that on a wheel cart. That's not how
No.
it works. I went to a wheel competition and I had a dog named Vader, Vader Jr. And he's strong. He's a really strong dog. But guess what? One day of the show, he only pulled 700 pounds on
Yeah.
wheels. And I didn't feel any way about it. I understand wheels is different than a rail system.
Yeah.
There's variables. That night it was raining. It was on grass. So as it was raining, the cart was sinking down into like a groove, a mud groove. So what was happening, and they were loading the weight on that groove.
Yeah.
So it was creating a divot. So one, you just he's probably not going to pull much.
No.
You know,
Yeah, but pretty much two different kind of sports when you do wheels and rails. Oh,
Hey, I'm putting my charger in my phone. Give me
yeah.
1 second. There we go.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, and you need to really realize that it's two different type of tracks, and you can't expect the
Yes.
same weights
Yeah.
on wheels as you do on rails. No, it's
No, you
totally
can't.
different. Yeah, and
Yes, sir. You're
even
you're
when you go to
100% right.
different tracks, yeah, even if you go to,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big difference, and the only track you can compare is to do two shows on the same track, and then it's still
Yeah.
variables
But
with weather
yeah,
and
it's still
everything.
variables. The weather. Yeah, you might have
Yeah,
one day you have a slight fog in the air. That fog or that condensate gets on the rails. Guess what? That thing's gonna roll like no tomorrow. Then you might
yeah,
have a day where it's cold. The metal gonna you got a day where it's hot or cold. The metal going to
yeah,
expand or contract, and it's going to cause a different pull. So, like I say, it's always a variable. You just got
yeah,
to be up there and have your dog's best interest at heart. So that means if the dog can't get it, hey, push it.
yeah,
That's simple. It's
exactly.
simple. Hey,
Yeah,
the dog cannot get it, push it. That's
no,
it. Simple as that. Like you'll never see my dog just standing up there scratching, 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 scratching. It doesn't do anything. Now
no,
I think I have a rule. I'll leave a dog up 10 seconds. If they can't get it within that 10 seconds, push it.
yeah,
And after that, I don't even try it again
no,
because all it does is it pushed the dog further and further into defeat.
yeah,
And you don't want
yeah.
that.
No, and they
Yep.
carry that around way more than the success. Yeah,
Yes, they do. They do. Yeah, man. You're 100% right about that. 100% right.
yeah.
Yes.
If we could make a way that they always succeed, then they will be stronger next time. But that's not always possible. But
Yes.
when you push the card, it has a huge uh, difference for them mentally.
Impacts on a huge impacts on the dog's morale. So if you think
Yeah,
about it, you can make them always succeed. They don't know when you say push it, they don't understand. Oh, he telling them to
no,
push the cart for me. No, they
no,
don't know it. So what you doing when you say push it and they push it, the dog think, oh God, we just got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't
Yeah.
think like, oh man, I feel like a complete POS because I couldn't get this weight. They just think, oh, we got it, good.
Yeah.
But when you
Yeah.
keep putting them up there and you leaving them all that time and they stop, and then it's like, damn, you know, I just can't get it, and that
No.
carries over to the next pull, and to the next pull, and to the next pull, and
Yeah.
until you get a dog that you're begging to pull. That's
Exactly.
why so many people you'll see them begging the dog, please come on, buddy, hey, come on, you can do this, let's go. You know, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to
No.
do that.
No.
And
Exactly.
that's why I was
Yeah.
telling you when I first got into pulling, that's how some of my dogs were. And
Yeah.
I used to go home and I would be like, man, this couldn't be how this sport was meant to be. Me begging and everybody at the show just begging a dog to pull. And I remember the first time I met a guy named Charlie Johnson. He came to the show. He had American Bulldogs, old MGK from Mountain Gator Kennel. A guy named Mark Landers was founded that kennel, and he had MGK dogs. He came out, put them dogs up there. I don't even think he spoke 3 words to them, and they just came down the track. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about the whole show. I said, that's what I was supposed to be doing. So
Yeah.
after that, man, after those original dogs, I changed my training up, and that's what I started to get. I started to get
Yeah.
dogs like that, you know, and it's just training. It's really just
Yeah.
training and keeping the dogs morale high and letting them think they can always get it. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
And not
That's all it
overdo it.
is.
Yeah.
Do not overdo it. Yep.
Yeah. Don't
And don't
push.
overdo it
Yes.
too fast.
No.
Yeah, you don't want to go too fast. You know, if you go too fast, it's worse than going too slow.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it sounded earlier that you started to train the dogs quite early, and but at what age do you think they are uh, at their peak?
I think a dog is at their peak of their careers is probably about between 2 years old and 5 years old. I think right after five they started to plateau down,
Yeah.
you know, start to run down that hill. But I think 2 years old to five. Now, when I say I start training the dog at 8 weeks old, I'm imprinting.
Yeah.
So again, that's me training, you know, but I'm imprinting. I'm teaching the dog what the harness is. I'm teaching them to follow me. I'm teaching them how to stay straight. I'm teaching them to stay to one side. I'm teaching them the command to work. I'm teaching them, you know, hey, we don't play around. We don't bite grass while we're pulling. We don't. That's what I'm training, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, when you say I train at 8 weeks, oh, why you do that to that little puppy? No, I'm teaching them. Just like
Yeah.
you would teach a dog in the house, don't bite my couch, don't bite my table legs, don't bite my wall, don't bite the cat, don't, you know, it's the same thing. I'm just
Exactly.
imprinting on this young puppy how I want it to act when we're in the harness.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I'm doing. That's what I so I start imprinting at 8 weeks at 8 weeks of age. You know,
Yeah.
the real training where I'm starting to train and, you know, put a little more weight on them and do this and do that starts closer to 9 months old when we're getting ready for a show.
Yeah.
But before then, everything is really just imprinting. I'm teaching mannerisms, things that I really want them to know. So when we get to the track, I'm not having all the jumping on and off, the barking, you know, any of the bad habits.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can do that when they are young, it's way easier
Yes.
than when they get older. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
now
Absolutely.
I don't have to try to break a dog. And see, that's the big
No.
thing, man. It's not about I don't want to have to break a dog to teach him this, you know, to train him to do weight pulling. You know, I want my dog to always be on a high. I always want him to, you know, be at the highest he can be while we're training. I never
Yeah.
want to have to break him down where he's just ducking and he's down all the time. You know, you can look at any of my dogs, and when they're on that track, dude, they're at home.
Yeah.
They're at home, they're calm, they're, you know, they don't have the big open eyes and their mouths open, and you don't see stress on my dogs when they pull because it's something that they've been training for their whole life.
Yeah.
So they don't get stressed out. They don't you know, you never see them breathing hard or you know, their eyes side to side, or you can see the whites of their eyes. They're calm, they're even in the face, you know, all their moves are methodical, you know, everything's calculated. You know, you never have any of that issues if you start imprinting young. But
No.
it's when people have to, they start older and they got to put a prong collar and they got to break dogs to get them to pull. That's not what this is about. It's not
No.
about that. It's about trying to have fun with your dogs. You
Yeah.
know, and that's what I really want people to get out of this message. If you're not having fun doing weight pulling, you should find something else.
Yeah.
This should
It should
always
be
be
fun.
fun for you and the dog. Win, lose, or draw. Whether you're winning, losing, or drawing, you should be having fun with your dog. This is what you're doing with your animal.
Yeah.
It should be fun.
Yeah. That's a really good message, because it needs to be
Yeah.
fun. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's do something else, as you said.
Like I said,
Yeah. So
I went to UPF Nationals last year, and guess what? I won ADBA Nationals, won percentage, won everything I can win at ADBA. I went to UPF 2 weeks later, and guess what? I didn't win, and
no.
I was just as happy that I lost than I won. You know, I was happy
Yeah.
with the dog. The dog gave me 1,000%.
Yeah.
I was still happy with what my dogs did, you know, and winning is always fun too. But, you know, I didn't win that time. And guess what? I went back home, sat down, thought what I did wrong and figured it out. And guess what? We're going to go back this year and we're going to give them a valiant effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody always wins. There's always a dog or somebody out there, even in boxing, you know.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was one of the baddest boxers out there, but Mike Tyson
Yeah.
got knocked out too.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? He got knocked
Yeah.
out. You know, Floyd Mayweather is one of the most defensive fighters you can ever fight against. And guess what?
Yeah.
He done been hit upside the head a couple times.
Yeah. Of
You know,
course.
I don't think he lost, but he got hit upside his doggone head a couple times where, you know, it was like, oh man, you know, I better fix this. You know, so
Yeah.
everybody, nobody always wins 100%, and that's another thing, man. If you think that you got to win 100%, again, this isn't a sport for you, because you're not going to win all the time.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
you will not
That's
win all the
so
time.
true. That's so true.
Yeah.
And I feel that it's good that you don't win all the time, because you need to get humbled, so to speak. If you're
Yes.
always winning, then the humbleness isn't there for most people. It's
Yes. Nope.
awesome.
100%, man. Yes.
Yeah. Earlier you said that when a dog do a fast pull, it's good on the track, and then is there like 20-25 seconds? Is that when you feel that the dog is doing it's near their last pull, or do you have that knowledge about your
Yes.
dog?
I do have a. Yes, so I have a rule. Now it's just a rule, and rules are meant to be broken. So you know that. But
Yeah.
after my dog give me anything over 20 seconds, that's normally the last pull that they're going to give me. So if a dog gives me a 21-second pull, 9 times out of 10, I'm not getting the next one. If they give me a 26-second pull, you're probably not going to get the next one. You know what I mean? It's just one, especially if the dog is working hard for you from the start of the pull all the way through. I'm not talking about a dog for 10 seconds pull. I'm talking about that actual pull. You know, the rule normally, I see this more times than none, you're not getting another one.
No. And that's
Yeah.
pretty interesting, because we talked about that a little bit over here also, and it's somewhere between 20-25 seconds. That's pretty much
Yes.
then if you do the next weight, then it's a 50-50 situation, or even maybe
Yeah.
even higher numbers that you won't succeed.
Yes. 100%.
It's quite interesting that it's it's not that amazing actually, because somewhere it's physics wins over us all the time. So it's
All the
you
time,
need to
man.
have
Yep.
you need to have the cart moving. Is there a maximum time in these different organizations for how long
It's
the
funny.
pull can be?
It's funny you should say that. In ADBA, 60 seconds and you're done. The very last ADBA show I went to, there was a dog that made 103-second pull. He did not,
Wow.
and they didn't count it as a pull because it's
Oh.
only 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, with UPF,
We
did
have
you catch what I said?
No, I didn't catch that. So in ADBA you have 60 seconds. That's all.
Okay.
And the other organizations.
We must be hitting yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you at the moment. Yeah.
I don't think I got you yet. Let's see. Okay, yes. So I was saying with APA and UPF, it's 60 seconds unless the cart is still rolling at that 60 seconds. Now, if your dog doesn't get to the finish line and the cart stopped at 60 seconds time, but if the cart is still slowly rolling, no matter how slow, if it's still moving, the time still goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the same as we
Yeah.
do over here. And you talked about I can't remember the word, but kind of warnings in the different organizations that you had. Some I think it was the UPF. You had 3. I'm not sure if it was
Yeah.
warnings.
Okay. So you have 3. You have 3 files. So what that
Fouls,
is if your dog don't get it this time, that's ADBA. So if your dog don't get it, okay, hey, push it. I'm gonna try again. You go right back up. You try it. If your dog don't get it again, you can go back up and try it again. Your dog might get it the 3rd time, but you have 3 files to try. With APA, it's only one. No, not APA. UPF is only 1 file. So let's say you try and you don't get it, you can say, hey, I'm gonna try again, and you go up and try again, and that's it. With APA, I don't think they incorporated files yet. I don't think so. I really don't think so. If I'm not, I don't think they incorporated files yet. But yeah, you get 3 with ADBA, 1 with UPF, and I think 0 with APA.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah, we don't have
IWPA don't.
fouls at all.
IWPA don't have any either.
No.
Yeah.
Is are people using the fouls in the other organizations?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think weight pulls actually probably go 2 to 3 times longer because people use all their files.
Yeah. And how often do the dogs succeed?
Now it depends. If the dog is really trying to get it and can't get it, they normally don't succeed after. But if it's a training issue where you got a dog that's standing there for 60 seconds, you can go up there, take him right back up, and he say, okay, I'm gonna do it, and he gets it. So it depends on what kind of issue it is. If it's a issue from conditioning, 9 times out of 10 they're not gonna get it. If it's a training issue, they might get it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. What do you prefer? Fouls or no fouls?
I prefer no fouls.
Yeah.
I prefer no fouls.
Yeah, I like
Because
that as
no
well.
fouls, we can get out, we can get it over quicker, we can get home, we can get, to the restaurant and have a beer.
Yeah.
So that's no fouls. With fouls, we're gonna be there a long, long time.
Yeah. How long is the shows typically? Well, it depends on how many dogs there are, of course, but
yes, it depends on how many dogs there are. It depends on if the track is sit on if it's level or if it's on an incline. So when we were in Jersey, we were on a 3-inch incline. We were out of there, man, probably 2 hours. It wasn't a whole bunch of dogs. It was probably like 19, 20 dogs. But if that was a flat track, there probably 4 or 5 hours. Hold on, say what you said one more time. I think I lost you.
Yeah, I lost you. The Bully Max track where what's her name? Kelly, I think. Yeah, where she pulled that enormous amount.
FMK'S Machine Gun Kelly. Yes.
Yeah. So where is that track?
That track is that's in Pennsylvania. It's probably about 5 hours away from my house. It's a stationary track. It doesn't move. It was made out of old train like train tires and railroad tracks, and so it's really nice. It's a very dramatic track. When you see it,
Yeah.
man, it's just like wow. It's huge.
Yeah,
It is
it
huge.
looks
Yes.
amazing with the logo in the back, and it's like a weight
Yes.
pulling theme in there. I think. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So they not only do weight pulling there, man. It's a top dog facility also. So you were just looking at
Okay.
the weight pull side, but there's a top dog wall on one side. You have and they have treadmill races and everything in there. They got top of the line treadmills. They got a top of the line weight pull. I mean, wall climb wall, dude. They're the real deal.
Wow, that's
They're
amazing.
the
There's
real deal.
someone.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of money in that arena.
Yes, and the floors are all turf, like the same turf
Yeah.
that's on a football field. It's turf inside of this building.
Nice.
Same turf with the green with the rubber with the little rubber specks inside of it. It's very soft and nice to step on. It's really nice in there. Really
Wow.
nice.
It's
Very
a
dog friendly.
Yeah. It's like heaven. I think it's for
Yes.
us that
Yes.
likes.
Oh man. Yes,
That's
it
amazing.
is. It's really nice. Yeah, it was a very nice show. The last show, I mean, it was nice. They had, they had food. They had really nice trophies. It was a cash prize of $1,000 for each thing they did, which they gave $1,000 for weight pull, $1,000 for wall climb, and $1,000 for the treadmill race.
Wow.
So it was. I mean, it's very nice. It's a very nice event there.
Yeah. Is
Very
it
nice.
because they have supplements in dog food? I think Bully
Yes, they
Max.
do. Yes,
Yeah.
they do, man. I mean, like I said, they're the real deal. They have food for all stages. From puppies all the way up to a high pro food. They have supplements. They have vitamins. I mean, they have everything, man. They're a really nice a nice food company. They're a really
Yeah.
nice food company, and they're trying to do something for the sport. That's the big thing for me. They're trying to do something for the sport. A lot of the other dog food brands, you don't really hear them doing sports or anything for the dogs, but Bully Max is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people can
That's
have their
big.
personal preference on food, but they're doing something for our sport.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not. Yeah, that's not typical. It's the other way around mostly.
Yes. Yeah. No. 100%. And
Yeah.
actually, the Bully Max, they have people that they sponsor to do some of these sports.
Oh.
Yeah, man. They have people that they pay them to go to different shows and pay their travel and their hotel expenses and everything.
Wow.
Dude,
That's
they're the
amazing.
real.
Yeah.
They got some people they sponsor their food. I mean, they're the real deal. They're definitely the real deal, man. I think I think it's a great thing what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice. I
Yes.
hope that more companies would just invest a little bit in the sport, because I think over
Yeah.
there it's also quite expensive to. Yeah,
It is.
just to have a
It's
track
very
is.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very expensive to
Yeah.
have a track, very expensive for gas to go to these shows.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I drove 36 hours. I think I
Yeah.
spent something like might have been $600 or $700 in gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot. And then I had to have room and board when I got there.
Yeah.
I had to have food,
Yeah.
so it's just a lot, man. It's a
Yeah.
lot to do these shows, and I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be able to continue to do what I do, what I love to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's nice. It's you need to have some income at least that supports your hobbies,
Yes.
because in
Yeah.
the end it's a hobby. Even though we are passionate about it, it's still a hobby. Yeah.
It is a hobby. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
I pretty much have one last topic, and it's harnesses. Uh, do you use a special brand of harness, or do you mix them?
Yes. So I only use Max Performance harnesses. They're Leanne Smith and Ron Smith down in Texas makes them over here in the U.S. and that's all I use. They supply all my harnesses. That's all my
Yeah.
dogs pulling from puppies from 8 weeks old all the way to time they start pulling. All they pulling is Max Performance harnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys, and Leanne, she's very got great customer service. She's a really nice lady. She would do anything to help you. If you give, and the biggest thing about that harness makers, and it's every harness maker, from the best to the newest to the oldest, they're getting measurements from people that don't necessarily know how to measure their dogs, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I send you a form and I say, hey, do you think these measurements are right, or how close to they are right? Hey, Leanne will actually put you on FaceTime or Facebook Messenger, the video camera on, and she'll say, hey, can you have a measure from here to here? If she sees that it doesn't sound right, she'll do that. Now, one other thing Leanne will do, once you get your harness, she wants to see the dog pull in it. And if she doesn't like it, she'll remake the harness. If she doesn't
Wow.
like it. Even if you say, hey, I feel like the harness is doing this, this, and this, Leanne will say, show me, and she'll remake the harness for you. That's if you got someone that's willing to stand behind their products, and you have a little patience with them and stand behind their products, dude, you can't beat that.
No,
You cannot beat it.
that's customer service at its best. And
Yes,
then
100%.
pride in her product. That's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, man, they're the only harness company. I haven't seen one yet that are making custom harnesses. I have a Batman harness, I have a Joker harness, I have a Mighty Mouse harness, I have one that she did with my kennel logo on there. She does. They have really good products, man. They're really good. And Max Performance on Facebook, you go in their messages, and she's going to respond to you almost immediately.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. And see, that was a big thing for me for my old harness maker, man. It was hard to get in touch with this person, and sometimes it would be 2 weeks before I would even get a reply, and then it'll be another month before I get my harness. So right now, let's say I'm getting ready for a show and I need a harness in 5 to 6 weeks. If my harness maker can't get it to me in a good decent time, that means I might have to either miss that show, or I have to put a harness that doesn't fit my dog on.
Yeah.
So with Leanne, I haven't missed the show yet. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
Haven't missed the show yet, and that's Max Performance harnesses.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
really nice. It sounds. Yeah. Has there been throughout all the years? It's been a shortage in harnesses anytime,
Yeah,
or
there has. All the big harness makers, they used to pull dogs, but they're older now. So what
yeah.
happened? You have a few other harness makers that don't make harnesses anymore. You had one harness maker that took a hiatus. Had put out online that, hey, I'm not making harnesses anymore, only for people that are old customers. So
Yeah.
then you have other harness makers come out and they only stay out for 2-3 years. You got. I mean, that harness is a big thing, man. That harness is
Yeah.
a huge thing. You got to have the harnesses if you want to pull these dogs, because you're gonna have
Yeah.
dogs, especially if you like me. I have a lot of dogs, and I plan on having a lot of dogs pulling. And man, I think I have on the wall right now, and every one of them is Max Performance.
Yeah.
So it just you got to have the harness. Never get rid of them because your dog outgrew it. You put them on the wall, because you
Yeah.
will have
Exactly.
another dog. If you like this sport as much as I like it, you will have another dog that's going to fit that harness
Yeah.
at some point. Yes.
Yeah. Sooner or later, it will be that.
Yeah. So sooner or
Yeah.
later, man, this hobby will creep up on you, man, and just overtake you. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yes, it
haven't had a
will.
dog for it's 5 years now, and yeah, it's but I still still invested and started the
Yeah,
podcast without competing or even having a
yeah.
dog. So it's
Well,
yeah,
look, man. Hey, look, I have a letter coming up soon, sooner or later,
yeah,
man. You want some good stuff, man? I was gonna
yeah.
say I have a puppy going out to Italy and I think next week.
Oh,
Yeah, I
nice.
have
Yeah,
a puppy from my last litter going out to Italy, man. So when you're ready, just let me know.
yeah, yeah. I will call you up
Oh yeah,
when I'm ready. Yeah, I will
yeah. When
just
you're ready, hey, look, I'll make sure you get a world beater, man.
yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Oh yeah,
Great. Well, I don't have any more questions. I think we could talk weight pulling for ages. Actually,
yeah, hundred
it's
percent.
a fantastic sport. Just one last thing. What do you think about the future when it comes to the sport? Is it possible to grow?
I think the future is Yeah, I think the future is bright for the sport, man. You got guys that are doing a whole lot for the sport. Brian Horsfeld, myself. You got Jonathan Trejo. I got a buddy named Eli. I got a buddy named John. And I have seen each one of these guys at some point or another help someone to try to get started in the weight pulling
Yeah.
at some point or another. So there's guys out here. Ron Smith, the guy, his wife makes the harnesses.
Yeah.
I've seen him. He has a arena at his house, and I've seen him take people and he helps them train their dogs and try to get them into weight pulling. So there's people out here, man, that try to make the sport bigger. And as long as
Yeah.
we keep those people in the sport's going to continue to grow.
Yeah. That's nice. That's
Oh yeah,
I feel the same.
yes,
Do you do you have a lot of people watching your live streams when you stream
yeah,
from the
yes.
shows? Yeah,
Yes, man.
that's good.
Normally those live streams, sometimes I'll look on there, it'll say 500 people are watching.
Yeah,
Because I share it. I have about 5,000 friends on Facebook, so I share it on my page, and I normally share it to every weight pull or sporting dog group there is. So, between all the pages I share it on, plus my page, I mean, sometimes there's 500 people. I've seen as many as at the Nationals, it was 1,500 people watching at one time.
that's really
So
nice. Yeah,
there is a lot of people watching, and I do it because when I'm home and there's a show, I'm like, man, I wish somebody would put a live up. I wish,
yeah,
I like the sport so much that I actually watch it. I'll sit here and watch it just like I'm there,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and won't miss one bit of it. So and I thought about it. I said, you know what, as many shows as I go to, I need to start putting them on live, and that's what I've been doing.
yeah, that's really
Yeah, and
nice.
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important parts to do to get the sport out there, because a lot of people don't know anything about the sport, and
Yes.
when they see, especially when you have a live that goes on, just not the pulls, but you can see everything around, not
Yeah.
everything, but you can see that people are happy, and it's
Yeah.
a yeah,
Yep.
it's a nice time for everybody,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's
Yes,
really
sir.
good.
Yeah, man,
Awesome.
it's a great time. I love the pulls, man. I love my pulling family. I love the people I've met. Some of these people I've known for 20 years. Some people I've known for as little as 5 or 3 or 2. But it's I enjoy everybody's company when I go to these pulls.
Yeah, they kind
Everybody,
of
everybody
yeah,
company when I go to pulls.
yeah, it's kind of your extended family, so to speak. Yeah, it's
Yes, yes, they
yeah,
are. Yeah, hundred
yeah,
percent.
nice,
Yep, 100%.
awesome, great. Well, is there anything that you haven't spoken about that you want to get out there, especially for this is like
Only thing, man.
98% Swedish people that are listening to this, so
So are we live, or are you going to put this recording up?
I'm gonna put the recording up. I'm gonna edit it a little bit and get
Okay,
it up.
okay.
Yeah, both on YouTube and
The
out
only
on
thing, man.
Spotify. Yeah,
That'll be great, man. That'll be great. Only thing I can say is, one day I wish to come to Europe. Hopefully within the next year or two, man. I would like to come out and come out and see how you guys do weight pull.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yep,
Yeah,
I would love
I
to do
know
that, and
that.
maybe even give a seminar while I'm there. Or how I
Yeah,
do it, or how we do it in the U.S. And just something different than the norm.
yeah. That would be amazing. I
Yeah.
know that there are some. I'm not sure about the UPF, but I know that there are some ADBA shows in the south of, like in France or Spain and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think that would be amazing. And if you come over to
Okay.
Europe, yes, just announce it big, because I think a lot of people will join up
Okay.
and watch. Yeah, because especially those that have seen, even though um, the track was just in perfect condition, but to see a
Yeah.
dog like Kelly pull that much, and in such a calm and nice way, it's like the perfect pull. I think
Yes.
when people see that, they yeah, they get amazed. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially.
no, 100%. And like I tell you, man, I breed for that. That's part of the genes that I'm breeding for. I'm breeding for nice, calm dogs that, not stressful. And the training is very smooth and easy on the dogs. There's not there's no force involved in it. These dogs do it because they love it, and I pick dogs that love it.
Yeah,
I literally I want the dog that enjoys this. Like if I have a dog that just doesn't like pulling, maybe he's a top dogger. Maybe he's a dog
yeah,
that want to do lower course, and
exactly.
it's okay. I totally understand that. It's no hard feelings. Hey, he just want to do lower course or top dog. I have two top dogs at my house right now that I'm working with. I'm trying to, kind of push my way into that sport as well.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dogs every waking hour for you.
Yeah, man, it
Yeah,
really is. I'm actually, as soon as I get off here, I have kennels to clean, dogs to let run, and I give a few baths, and I have things.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's dogs all day.
All day long. Yeah, that's nice.
Yes.
It's a nice way of living, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss
Yep.
it a lot. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
just need to convince my wife that she also wants a dog now.
she
Yeah,
misses it too. That's what you got to convince. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the hardest part. Yeah, always the
Listen,
hardest part.
let,
Yeah,
let me tell you the secret to that. You just get the puppy, you
yeah,
bring it home, and then you beg for forgiveness after you
yeah.
bring the puppy home.
Exactly. Yeah,
You with me? You bring a little cute
yeah,
puppy home, and then you beg for forgiveness. That's how you do it.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only way.
Yeah,
She loves dogs, so she will love it immediately.
yeah.
So that,
And
yeah,
then you tell her this puppy only had a one-way flight from America. Is no
yeah.
how we gonna send it back, honey? And she say,
Exactly,
okay,
exactly. It's way too
yeah.
long. Yeah, yeah. We can't do that. Yeah, that's a great plan. That's a great
Hey,
plan.
hey,
Yeah.
look, I know all the plans how to get dogs, man. I just don't know how to get rid of them.
No, no.
Hmm.
That's way harder. That's way harder. Yeah.
Yes, it's
They
harder to
crawl
get rid of
into
them than it is to get them.
Yeah, they crawl into your
Oh
heart
yeah.
directly. It's they are amazing. Well,
Yes.
awesome. Thank you very very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It's
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime you want to do this again, let me know. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
awesome. When are nationals?
Nationals this year. Uh, let's see. We got two nationals. One is the first week of October. We got and that's ADBA, and then the second week of October is UPF, and the first week of November is APA.
Oh,
So
yeah.
within 30 days time, we got three nationals.
Okay, and
Yeah.
you're gonna
I
pull in all of them.
no, I just pull in two. I pull in ADBA and UPF.
Yeah,
Yep, I just pull in two.
yeah. So
So
October will be a
I
hectic
will
month
have.
for you.
Yeah, it will, and I'll have a live feed up for the two that I'll be there.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh
Great.
yeah.
Then we should do a checkup. Maybe even, yeah. before or after nationals?
You,
That
you,
would be awesome.
you,
Yeah.
hey, you tell me, man, and we can go over a play-by-play of how nationals went. I don't have a problem.
Yeah. That
And what I did,
would be
hey,
amazing.
look, everything I did leading up to the nationals. I don't have. We can talk about it.
That would be amazing. Let's do that.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, all right,
All
no
right.
problem, man. When you're ready for that dog, let me know.
I will let you know. Awesome. Great.
Okay, brother.
Thank you.
It's nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
All right, you too. All right, guys.
Great.
Okay.
Bye.